I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. Wow. That statement really makes me wonder some days. It makes me wonder, do I really know Christ? And will he allow me to know the Father? These are big questions, at least for me, and I suspect for many, if not all of you. As I was preparing, I kept coming back to the question, how well do I know Jesus Christ? I thought about the question as I read and listened to the readings for today and the gospel. And as I was doing it, I got the sense that they were brought together for a very specific reason. And that was to remind us that we really do know Jesus. That we are all very special people in God's eyes. The first reading was especially meaningful for me today because it's really about the naming, well, it says it in the reading, 7 reputable men. That would be the first deacons in the church, a brotherhood that I am blessed to be a part of. It's a group that has been, just like those first 7, tasked with taking care of the social needs of the believers, tasked with serving the communities. They were then, and we are today, tasked with being sure that no one in the community was or is being neglected. But at the same time, I know, and I'm sure all of my brother deacons would agree, that none of us can do this alone. We need the support of the whole community. And for the support of this community, I am especially grateful. Because as Father Joe has reminded us pretty much since the first weekend he got here, alone we can do so little. Together we can do so much. And it is through supporting one another that we know that we do in fact know Christ. And then in the second reading, near the end, you get to the line that says, we are a chosen race, a royal priesthood. And think about that for a second. And while you're thinking about it, try to remember that the chosen race and the royal priesthood isn't just about those serving in official ordained ministries of the church, but it's about all of us who serve in whatever ministry we happen to be in throughout our lives. It's about all and each person in the community of believers. But what does it mean to be a chosen race? Well, quite simply, it means we, you and I, are it. We are God's chosen people. That's right. God has chosen all of us. No, God has chosen each of us to come to this earth, to live our lives at this time, in the expectation that through our lives, we will help others find their way back to Him. Now, the meaning of being a royal priesthood, that one was a little bit harder for me. Took a little bit of research, and then I found it. I found it in Exodus 19, where we see the same phrase being used. And when I looked at that, I got the sense that in today's reading, Peter is telling us to be holy in everything we do, so that everyone we interact with will see that we are, in fact, a priestly people, that we are God's chosen people. Now, realizing that we've been tasked with taking care of our brothers and sisters in our community, and that we are a chosen race, a royal priesthood, we're brought back to Jesus saying to his disciples, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. And if you think about it for a second, it really does make a lot of sense. Because here, once again, we have Jesus telling his disciples 2,000 years ago and telling all of us, telling each of us today, that if we follow him, he will bring us home and he will bring us to the Father. The interesting part, the funny part really, as I was looking at this, he said this to the disciples, and he's saying it to us today, knowing full well that his disciples then, his closest friends, and probably many of us today, especially with what's going on in our world, are unsure. They were questioning, we question. They were questioning him as they tried to understand. No, more as they tried to, through their human frailty and weakness, accept what he was telling them. There is no question that we need to be asking ourselves, at least I need to be asking myself, do I believe Jesus when he says, "Believe me that I am in the Father and the Father is in me"? If each of us believes this statement, and we can all have the confidence that we do in fact know Jesus, and he will show us to the Father. It's a question I've wrestled with for the past couple of weeks. Do you really believe?